Hey, I hope that you are doing well wherever you are watching this. There are massive layoffs going on right now. Massive layoffs going on right now. And businesses just straight up freaking closing because of the impact, how we are responding to COVID 19 and the shelter in place acts are just devastating. And I wanted to talk about what to do when you are laid off. It is actually something that had been on my mind to create content around because three of my clients, a couple one on one clients and one group coaching client, had experienced layoffs since November, December, and they actually had experienced layoffs within the same month. There was just something about layoffs in the air. Some of them were expected because of um, bullshit performance plans, PIPs, that they were put on that were impossible. And company had history of doing this to folks. And I had experienced that before in a larger company where I was put on an impossible PIP. And so was my manager, and so was my entire team. And I had jump shipped, which was the best thing I could have ever done, and got another job before the first day that I started my job 2 weeks later. I remember getting a text that everybody on my team had gotten laid off essentially. And that's just what happens. You are not the first person to ever be laid off. Although we are in an international crisis, this is what's going to keep happening. People are going to be trimming what they believe are the most cost effective or most return on their or least return on their ROI by investing in these workers and employees. And then some other clients were laid off because 30 to 40% of their company was just straight up laid off. So that had nothing to do with performance or just anything within their power and control. So I am saying this taking light that the resources feel very limited. Folks are losing passion and motivation to seek jobs right now, and I'm telling you, don't stop. Some of the things I do just really want to share is when you actually do get a layoff, here are some things I found were helpful for my clients and some friends who had experienced layoffs, which is super common in tech. There are reorgs all the time happening, acquisitions happening, people losing runway all the time, and layoffs. It's the nature of tech and business. And so I want to just share some tips that I believe are helpful. So, tip number one is to not sign anything right away when someone pulls you into that random meeting that was unscheduled before and tells you, we gotta let you go. Or you receive an email that says, we gotta let you go, which could go either way. And hopefully they aren't completely heartless, but sometimes they are heartless and you just find that your shit's deactivated, like all your accounts. But take time to review your severance package. Make sure there is actually a severance package. Ask for as much time as you need to review anything before you sign anything. You can ask an HR professional, a people ops professional, any friends you have who are experienced in layoffs or look at labor rights to just make sure that you're getting what you're due and look for any ways to negotiate. So, things to negotiate when you are laid off. One client was getting a month and a half of severance, and she believed that she was entitled to 2 to 3 months and was able to get 2 months by just stating her case, showing the value that she had brought, how she had known in previous layoffs of other colleagues who worked less than a year, or she worked way more, like a year or two more than her colleagues had, that they got the same as her and she believed she was due more and she got more. Think of your health care. So, what is COBRA? When does COBRA kick in? Can the company do an extra month or so of health care benefits before you have to resort to other things? Make sure that you're eligible for unemployment. Absolutely make sure you're eligible for unemployment unless someone's giving you a sick package where they are taking care of you for 6 months or so, and it's worth it to waive the ability to get unemployment, then yeah, but make sure you're eligible for that. If it's a massive layoff, make sure you try to get a letter. I just found this one out, a letter from your people ops or HR department to actually um, get them to say like, hey, this has nothing to do with performance. Essentially, we highly recommend her, and this was just due to a massive layoff, etc. Um, so that's strategy parts. Other strategy parts, of course, are dust off that resume, start networking like crazy, um, and really start applying to jobs if you, especially if you need it. Now, I want to talk a little bit more holistically on the things that actually happen internally that we need to do when we go through layoffs. So, take time to process and heal is the number one thing. And what I mean by that is not everybody can take a month or 2 months or 3 months, although be prepared, especially in times right now during COVID 19 crisis mode, international health crisis. There's a lot of competition, a lot more right now to get some jobs, especially virtual and remote ones. But don't be discouraged. Shine, put yourself out there. But before you apply, take the time to heal and process what is going on. If you are angry, be angry. If you are feeling self pity, throw that pity party. If you are sad, frustrated, lost, feel into that, experience that. Don't try to shut that out, because if we hold it in, it shows up in our interviews. If we hold it in, it impacts everything. So just feel into that and find the lessons, right? Like, we need to let that shit be processed and let it flow out of us. If that means having an intentional hour, if that means having an intentional week, if that means having 2 weeks, or if you can spare it and have the privilege of having longer, then go for it. But we need to let that out. And then we need to find the lessons. So to find the lessons, I lean heavily on gratitude. A lot of my clients, one of the things I ask them are, when they were even crying and going through it, what is 1% that you can appreciate about this? One of them said, well, it gave me the kick in the butt I needed, because I would have never left this job that I was super unfulfilled and unhappy at. Another one said, I now have the space to reprioritize and think about passion and creativity and realign with my values as I interview. Another one said, I understand now what I'm looking for in my other company, my next company that I go for. And it could just go on and on and on. The gratitude can be there, even 1%. Find that and take the lessons. One of the lessons is, I'm never gonna stay too long in a company I am unfulfilled at because of security. Because guess what? Security isn't guaranteed, obviously. And life is truly too short. I know that this can feel like it's coming from a privileged place, but if life is so short and tomorrow isn't guaranteed, we want to make sure that we are being grateful for what we have and also pursuing the life that we want. And that includes the careers that we want. So find the lessons. And as you job hunt and move forward, ask for help. That's my number one tip. Don't be afraid to let the world know that you were laid off, because that's shit that we can't hide. Don't be afraid to ask for help writing your resume, ask for help editing it, ask for help getting networking connections, ask for help getting interviews, ask for help and investing in help like coaching. So one of my clients had actually been through 3 layoffs, and this was her first layoff where she had a leadership coach. And I can't tell you how much it was a joy to hear her say, like, wow, this is so different. I'm handling this with more power. And yes, I feel the hardship, the challenges, the sadness, all of it. There is just so much more control when we invest in help. And that could be with your family, your friends, or a coach. But overall, if you are going through a layoff, my heart is with you. If you go through a layoff in the future, my heart is with you. And do what you need internally in order to do what you need externally. As women of color, we are survivors. We are built for shit like this. And at the same time, we need to honor the experience, honor our lived experience of all of this, and then strategize to move forward effectively. All right. Catch you at the next lesson.